From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello, my name is Jordan Norkus.
And I'm PJ Sioka. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, my name is William Callahan.
And I'm Sabrina Garone. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, my name is James Tauble.
And I'm Faye Canadian. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, my name is Amanda Nardiello.
And I'm Ryan Cosner. Thank you for joining us. Many Sacred Heart alumni have gone on to turn their dreams into reality after graduation. For alum Troy Scribner, that dream is playing for Major League Baseball. Here's James Tauble with more.
I had just walked into my hotel room and KJ, my manager, Keith Johnson, called me. He said, "Yo, you gotta come back to the clubhouse and pack your stuff. I think you're going to the show tomorrow."
There's that good slow curve, 71-mile-an-hour curveball.
Walking out the dugout, and I like turned around. I was like, "Oh my God, I got the win!" To my family. It was cool that it was my first outing, and then it ended up being a win too. And not a lot of people get to do that their first time pitching.
It was sort of a validation that if you do all the right things as a person, as a player, that the cream will rise to the top.
And to have two kids that made it all the way to the major leagues? No, never, ever thought.
It gives us cred. It gives us the ability to stick our chest out and say, yes, one of ours has made it to the top. He is the pioneer. He led the way.
7 years ago, a not-for-profit organization, Simply Smiles, came to the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Reservation in South Dakota. Their mission has been to provide bright futures for impoverished children, families, and communities there. This is LaPlante, South Dakota, far away on the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Reservation and home to about 171 Lakota people who Simply Smiles has partnered with to fit their needs.
Let's be frank, these communities need help, you know? They're isolated communities that don't have an economic base to support everybody. And so they don't have resources. These generous people that come to be here a week out of their lives to play basketball with the kids, you know, that's a big deal.
These people are finally realizing that our tribe is not going to do what is being done for us by the Simply Smiles people.
This month, we celebrated St. Patrick's Day with parties and parades. But who really was St. Patrick, and how has the holiday become what it is today? I spoke with some local experts to find out more.
St. Patrick's Day has been celebrated in the United States since the mid-18th century. For Americans, the holiday is not only a celebration of the patron saint of Ireland, but also a celebration of Irish American culture. But who was St. Patrick, and how has the holiday become what it is today?
St. Patrick makes sure there's no more snakes in Ireland. He brought Christianity to Ireland, which would be their salvation.
As politicians struggle to find a common solution to gun violence, activists around the country are taking it upon themselves to make a change. Dr. Rose, a professor of political science and global studies at Sacred Heart, is here to share his thoughts with us. Let's send it over to Phil Zeller, who's with Dr. Rose now.
Movements before emerge, and then they kind of die on the vine. This one does look like it certainly has some longevity. Now, to your question, why is it this time that that we have so many young people truly, taking action on behalf of gun control? And I think that this probably just allowed, I would say, sort of this anger that people have had about a range of issues to be somewhat, more effectively mobilized, and it kind of was like the catalyst, if you will, that really set in motion something that I think was probably below the surface anyway, just waiting for some type of issue that young persons could grab onto to, if you will, challenge perhaps the policies of this president and maybe the Republican-controlled Congress.
An expansion here at Sacred Heart, but this has not come without its share of growing pains. Finding parking has become a struggle for many students on campus, and I can say that for everybody here, we have experienced this struggle. What is the campus and what is the university doing to solve this issue? Here is Michael Latito with more.
Also was just constructed. Recent construction completed on campus include the WSHU building as well as JP's Diner, with a layout for upcoming construction on the new Bobby Valentine Athletic and Recreation Center. While new buildings have created more classrooms and more availability for student housing, the Sacred Heart community faces the issue of parking.
Parking at times can be problematic. It just depends on the academic schedule. So we do whatever we can to try and adjust with the registrar's office the parking so that we, on an ongoing basis, are making a review based on, the number of people and students that are assigned to a specific class.
Hunger is an issue that affects 41 million people across the United States. In collaboration with Meals of Hope, student government hosted their first ever Hunger Project, a food packing event to help the hungry in the Bridgeport area. With more on this story, here is Kelsey Orr.
Student government's first ever food packing event. In collaboration with the nonprofit organization Meals of Hope, the goal was to provide 25,000 meals to the hungry in the Bridgeport area. Student government president Tara McCormick has been dreaming of putting on an event like this for a long time.
So the Hunger Project idea was something that I've been very passionate about for a long time. My dad had actually done a food packaging event similar to this, and since high school I've worked a lot with soup kitchens and different things like that, and I came here and did a lot of work with local food pantries, soup kitchens, and I thought it'd be an awesome way for Sacred Heart to get involved as a whole community, not just a certain organization, and give back to our local community.
You know, it's only a few hours, but we're impacting over 50,000 families in a course of 5 hours, and I don't think you can beat that.
You know, it's great to see the student leaders on our campus spearhead such an important cause.
And after all, community service is part of the mission here at the university.
That's all the time we have for today. I'm William Callahan.
And I'm Sabrina Garone. We'll see you next time on The Pulse.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
JP's Diner is just one of many new additions to our campus opening this year. In fact, since Dr. Patillo has been president of the university, 11 new buildings have been completed or are currently in construction. Here is Brendan Capuano with more on the school's recent expansion efforts.
Campus pretty much looked the same until about 2009 with the construction of the Chapel of the Holy Spirit. Since then, Sacred Heart University has grown into one of the largest Catholic undergraduate universities in the Northeast.
The university itself became much more attractive to juniors and seniors in high school. And as a result of that, we saw a surge in faculty and student life, etc., to maintain that quality of student life. And as a result, the little things, at 2,000 students and certainly now at 5,000 students, students are still holding doors for folks. Students are still greeting parents when they come into 63, and if they don't have money, the student will get up, I hear it every year, come up and let them come in on their swipe card. There still is this familial community that exists here, and really I think that's the richness of Sacred Heart today. And it was the richness of it before, but I just think now the difference is we're a larger body, we're a wider span of where our students come from. The need for the institution, which is the students, would be more housing and quality housing. We will be breaking ground, hopefully in the spring, for 2 more residence halls, but there'll be apartments for upperclassmen, which will have kitchens, living rooms, 2 bedrooms, more of those to get more of our off-campus housing back on campus, to create, again, to shore up that sense of community of who we are. I think things like Reds and the Diner will bring students back onto campus in the evening, which is really, even in weekends, which is really what we want to do. Addressing some of the student amenities, I think, continues to be the new rec center that will be built and finished hopefully in the end of 19. That's really for non-athletes in there, and it'll be a great facility for folks.
I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years or even 10 years if this is what has happened in just 3 to 4 short years. They care about us, they want us to be happy and be successful while at school.
I think our interest in the future is to uptick the infrastructure for the students. I think we've been keeping pace, but we need to provide more. And with the advent and the coming of West Campus, we'll provide more opportunities here for space. Still significantly short of where I'd like us to be, but nonetheless, moving in that direction, it just takes time and land and money.
I do think that Sacred Heart University as a whole, they do listen to the students, so we have needs. But I think what a lot of students have a hard time understanding is the things that we have issues with take time to fix. We can't build dorms overnight. We can't make parking spots overnight. So building garages, building different facilities, different things like that, we do listen and we do respond.
Living off campus at the Marriott hasn't really affected my junior year that much. I'm an RSA at the Trumbull Marriott currently. It's basically like having a house off campus or living off campus somewhere else. Freshmen have definitely been adjusting well, especially considering the circumstances, but I think it's growing on them, and now that we've been there for a while, they've definitely bonded over the fact that they are at the Marriott.
With Tucson coming online, we'll be moving the Marriott students over. That'll help with the addition, hopefully, of 2 new residence hall that hopefully will break ground. That'll be for another 240 maybe students.
But it being new and definitely being back on campus and being so close to Linda's and Red's is like the biggest perk about Tucson.
There is certainly a sense that the university is student-focused, student-friendly. We are all here because of the students. And as a result of that, the culture from the administration and faculty is that we're here to be partners with the students in their transformation. People feel good about being here.
For The Pulse, Brendan Capuano, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Last semester, the Sacred Heart Club football team won their first ever national championship. Producer Corey Gittleman and I had the opportunity to speak to some team members, as well as their award-winning coach, about their most successful season yet.
It was just 3 years ago when the Sacred Heart University Athletic Department decided to start a club football program on campus. This past season, the team won their very first national championship, with numerous players being named All-Americans. One player in particular played a large role in the success and heart of the club football team, and that was senior captain Brian Moore, an All-American first-team defenseman.
It's an honor because, we put in a lot of hard work throughout the year, and it's nice to be recognized for it. So, I'm very happy to get recognized. Last year we lost a lot of good seniors, so I know we had a lot of good freshmen coming in too, bigger guys. So I didn't know what to expect, and once we started practicing together, we came together and realized that we had some real talent on the team. So that's when we started thinking we can win these games. After our Vermont game, which was like our first game, we went out there and we really handed it to them, and everyone was working really hard and everyone got really hyped after we won. So I saw that those guys really wanted to play and they really wanted to win. I love the sport, and being able to play it again is amazing. And then winning the national championship after only 3 years of playing is just unbelievable. Never expected that.
A championship team does not come directly from the talent of its players, but also from the hard training and direction from the team's coach. The Club League recognized Sacred Heart Club football coach Greg Jones as the Coach of the Year, although he feels that the award should belong to the entire coaching staff for their hard work.
When I took the job 3 years ago, obviously I have confidence in myself and I have confidence in my boss Ray, and we knew that we would take this in a different direction and provide another winning team. But if you had asked me if I had a national championship by my 3rd year, I would have told you you're kidding. There's something different about winning a conference championship. There's something cool to win that in your 1st year. Obviously, 2nd year is disappointing, but to win a national championship and have it say national championship, I don't think it's hit me really yet. I knew we could potentially run the table, but if the kids wanted to work at it. And of course, you have the bumps and bruises along the way, but at that moment, I didn't think national championship. I thought, hey, at least we're going to probably win the conference again. But, obviously, dreams come true. These kids have worked their tails off for me, and as a coach, you can't ask for more than that. I'd like to think that. I mean, you know, Brian Moore, Rory McCain, Ben Burke, Dalvin Charles, Curtis Sutherland, Amir Drazi, Mark. I mean, the list goes on of kids that played defense for me, and they would all run through a brick wall, not only for me, not for the coaching staff, but for each other. And you know, I don't win Coach of the Year, and honestly, it should be Coaching Staff of the Year. It's not about me. It's never about one person, but they really made me look like a great coach. Well, we're losing a lot of seniority. We're losing a lot of leadership. Brian Moore is a 3-time captain. Like Rory McCain was a captain. We're losing a lot of guys that were like players and coaches on the field. I'm sorry, coaches in the field to me. But we have kids now that have learned how to win. Obviously, losing players in key positions is going to be very difficult for us. But if you can replace those guys with kids that understand that you have to play the full 60 minutes, understand you got to put the work in the weight room, you got to put work in the classroom, and you know, being in club, you're a little bit disadvantaged because you're not set to a certain standard. If the kids can come and go, then they can come and go. I can't force them to do anything, and nor do I have to. But these kids have understood how to work, how to stay together, and I think that we're going to be in a good spot just because the kids that are returning to replace the kids that are leaving, because the kids that didn't play much last year are going to step into the kids that are unfortunately graduating and leaving me.
As the senior players will be graduating this semester, the team must continue training and focusing on defending their national title. Until next season, this has been Corey Gittleman and PJ Sioka for The Pulse.